Greetings, this is Amit Watts, and welcome to RE Master Talks, a series of candid interviews with industry pioneers and masters of RE and clean energy. Today, I have with me Mr. Nalin Kumar Sharma. Nalin, who has over 16 years of experience in the energy sector, he has built solid track record of leadership success in renewable energy and oil and gas sector with specialties in startup, strategic planning, business development, operations, bidding, and project management. He has extensive experience in Asia, the Middle East, Australia, and sub-Saharan African regions. Nalin currently works as at Ecoppia Scientific, a Tel Aviv-listed solar automation company, as Vice President, Asia, Middle East, and Pacific. He started his career with BPCL, Global Fortune 500 energy company, where he was responsible for annual revenues of $76 million. Nalin holds a bachelor's in technology from Indian Institute of Technology, Varanasi, and an MBA from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. Welcome, Nalin.
Hi Amit, good morning. Happy to be with you. Just one correction, my designation is president and not vice president.
Sorry about that. So we have President Asia, Middle East, and Pacific, Mr. Nalin Sharma, with us, who's working with Ecoppia. Welcome, Nalin.
Thank you.
So, Nalin, coming straight to the point, Ecoppia has recently launched the H4. Could you please share with us its features, capabilities, and how does it fit the local market in India?
Sure, Amit. So what we saw over last 6 years of operations in India, that all IPPs are shifting from a very conservative outlook, wherein they wanted nothing of robotics to touch the panel, to a more aggressive outlook, wherein because of the cost pressure, they want robots to run on solar panel itself. So first thing that this product brings us, it is running on frame, so there is no auxiliary requirement. Second challenge that we have seen is with good land parcels going away in first bits. Now we are seeing a lot of uneven land parcels. So second requirement was the robot should be able to accommodate a lot of undulation. So that is second thing that H4 is covering. Third thing we are seeing is the project sizes are becoming bigger. We are increasingly seeing 500 megawatt. In fact, we're in talks for gigawatt level projects as well in India. So the third requirement that we were seeing from the market was that the product should be able to cover up to 2 kilometer row length. So that is third thing we have brought to the brought forward. Fourth thing that we brought forward, which no one in industry was asking, was automatic speed control. Basically, say when robot is moving, it is very similar to our car. Say when you see a road bump, you reduce the speed of the car so that neither the road bump is damaged nor the car is damaged. Something similar this robot does. So when H4 moves first time over a row, it scans each row and then it memorizes the locations where suddenly slopes is changing. Say there is suddenly this kind of a slope. So you don't want robot to go in high speed over these kind of slopes. So it automatically slows down so that it doesn't impact the module mounting structures, and the structure is safe because Ecoppia at the end is built around safety and reliability. So that is another feature which we have brought in. And finally, the one of the most important thing we are bringing to table is bi-directional cleaning. So what we don't want is that the robot should do any idle run. Say this is the row. So from day one, it will start from point A, go to point B, sleep on point B. It won't come back to point A, which is an idle run, because cleaning happens in the first run. And next day it will change its direction and then it will move from left to right, so that it is moving only when it is doing cleaning. There is no idle run, no extra pressure is put on module frames, and we do not compromise around safety. So that is also one of the major things we have brought in. And in fact, adding to my third point that I shared, a lot of undulation. So we have also come up with a four-wheel drive. So the robot has four motors driving each of the wheels, so that if the surface is very uneven, let's say at some place three wheels are in air, still one wheel can drive the robot, and we have got it certified with leading tracker companies such as Next, where even for 25-degree misalignment, the robot was successfully able to cross the bridges.
Wow, wow, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Nalin, Ecoppia being known for its intensive testing and safety procedures, could you please shed some more light on the processes for the new H4 technology?
Yes. So one thing which happens in a new industry is whenever a new industry starts, we see a lot of players investing in R&D and a lot of players just copying and not being very robust and bringing bad name to the industry with lot of fire incidences, breakage of panels, etc. In Ecopia, as shared, our two pillars are safety and reliability. So we invest a lot in R&D and testing. This year alone, we are investing close to $25 million, majority of which is going into R&D. We have a 35-member strong team sitting in Israel for R&D and a new R&D center starting in India. We have a 40,000 square feet R&D test lab in Israel, wherein we have set it up different kind of setups. For example, various misalignment, whether it is vertical, horizontal, along x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, different kind of bridging, different kind of configuration of module tables, so that when we bring a product to the market, it is not half cooked. It's not the customer on which we are doing testing. For example, in case of H4, the product was ready way back in October 21. We have post that done alpha testing with a couple of IPPs in India and abroad, and in beta testing, we are testing hundreds of units. So the intent is we run the product at least for a year in the field before the first shipment, the first commercial shipment happens. So that has been our focus through and through, and that has ensured that in last 9 years of our operation, we have never scratched a single panel or broken a panel or damaged module mounting structure, which is very, very critical. You don't want a component which is just 1% of the solar project to damage module, which is like 60% of the cost of the solar project.
Right. Nalin, could you also share with us some of the main challenges which have been in the Indian market and when it comes to solar PV operations and maintenance, along with what are the reasons that Ecopia is staying ahead of the game?
Sure. So there are five, six things which have ensured that Ecopia remains ahead. I'll basically link them with challenges. The first challenge that Indian markets have faced is that companies are very, very cost focused and are not willing to invest in R&D. If you look at robotics as such, just 20 or 30% is the capex cost, 70% is AMC over 25 years. So it makes lot of sense that lot of investment is done in R&D so that for 25 years the product can function. So without requiring too much rework. So that is something we have invested heavily on. We have made product which can be easily serviced. Second thing that we have done is we have picked up vendors who are multi-billion dollar companies, so that in 25-year lifetime there is never a case wherein, let's say, you require a spare and that company has gone bankrupt. So it should not happen that you are stuck for want of spare. Third thing, in India, in addition to the selling of product, we look at as a very, very big talent market. So we have invested very heavily. In India, we have our own manufacturing facility as well, wherein we are assembling the robots and shipping out. So what that did was, during 150 days of lockdown that we saw in COVID, Ecopia was shipping robots continuously, and our robots maintenance was also never stopped because we were also able to ship out products. We were not dependent on basically lot of imports. And finally, it was all about robustness of the product. So for these 150 days, many times access to site was not there because of lockdowns, especially in the first 40, 50 days. So our robots were totally autonomous, and we didn't miss even a single cleaning cycles during these 150 days because the robots were designed such that they don't require any manual intervention. So we don't require a person to go to see or take care of whether the robot is operating or not. And on the same framework, we have invested a lot in backend of the robots as well, so that automatically Paretos, etc., are generated. So we get to know if a motor is about to fail, or if there is a lot of motor failures, vendor-wise, we get to know what is the percentage of failures we are seeing across vendors, so that we can keep on improving the product quality.
So Nalin, I already wanted to know. I had this question in mind to ask you that whether the robots are autonomous. But yes, since you've said that they're autonomous, so do they also collect data and have the capability of prediction, or how can this information be converted into revenue?
Sure. So in our case, the robots are collecting lot of data. As I shared in the first travel itself, the robots map out the rows. So we also know what are the slopes of at different points. Let's say we have a robot called Ecoppia T4, which moves over the in a zigzag pattern over the row. And say if you're cleaning a tracker, so in tracker you just measure the center point angle. Whereas with robot, we are measuring angle at each and every point of the table. And say at center, we are seeing 5-degree tilt, and at edge, we are seeing 7-degree tilt. Then we know this table is about to basically get damaged because there is already 2-degree deflection. So these are things which we can share with IPPs. Same thing happens with bridges, with module mounting structures, where we assist IPPs, because if you're talking about, let's say, 500 megawatt plant, which will be spread over 2,500 acres, it is very, very difficult for IPPs to keep a tab where a module is missing. In our case, we can tell them if a module is missing, the robot can tell that at coordinate GP, it can give the exact GPS coordinate that at this place a module is missing, and then it is very easy for IPP to send a maintenance engineer to fix it. So that is something which is being done free of cost as of now. Eventually, to our fold, we are going to add hotspot detection, detecting bad modules and other things. And this we are going to come up in next 3 to 4 years, and then we are going to monetize it as data as a service, DaaS product. But this is like 3 years, 4 years into the future.
All right, all right. So what are the benefits for IPPs in choosing a reliable partner with a local presence?
So there are 5, 6 benefits. First thing is that you don't want that you should be working for the robot instead of robot working for you. That is the main thing. The robot should be reliable. It should be working for you, and it should not happen that every now and then you are running and basically ensuring that robots are fixed. So in many of the big storms that we saw in Rajasthan, we saw robots which flew away, and then IPPs literally had to tie them up with ropes as if you are tying some cow or cattle. So that is not something that you want to do. So the first thing is that the robot should be very, very robust. Second thing IPPs need to factor in is you should not be just looking at cost. You should also be looking at percentage of availability. For example, if you buy a robot and it runs just 50% of the time, you cannot compare that robot to a robot which is working 100% of the time. So basically, second important parameter is what is the probability associated that the robot would be working perfectly fine. Third thing we have seen is a lot of companies are going bankrupt in robotics space because you signed very aggressive SLAs and then the product is not good enough, and a single project can basically take the company to bankruptcy. In Middle East, we are in talks with a client which had invested $5 million in robotics for a single project, and after 3 years, they have already extracted over $40 million in LD, and now they are checking out that player and bringing in a new robotic player. So it is very easy for companies to go bankrupt, robotic companies to go bankrupt if the product is not good. So you should also look at balance sheet, how much money they have. It is like, say, I am giving you a guarantee of 100 rupees and in my bank account I have only 10 rupees. So that guarantee is effectively not valid. Fourthly, what companies should look at is local presence. For example, in Ecoppia, we have over 100 people based out of India on our payroll. This is in addition to the factory staff that we have. So what that ensures is if you have any challenges, straight away someone can come in and attend it. We have many functional head, global functional head based out of India, global head of manufacturing, global head of procurement, global head of analytics, global head of maintenance, uh, so on and so forth. So basically what it does is, say if you have some queries, you can straight away reach out to the top guy in the company in no time. You can basically have a face-to-face meeting. They can visit the site. They can fix the problem, which is very, very essential. Similarly, see if there is a new product development that you want because of some future tenders, that also becomes very, very smooth. So these are the three, four things the company should look at. And finally, last but not the least, they should also consider the track record. For example, with Ecoppia in 9 years, we have never scratched or damaged a panel. So that is also very, very critical because it is very easy to promise, over promise, and then you don't want to be in a situation where someone has over promised and under delivered, because it's just 1%, it's less than 1% of the project cost. So it's like you are buying, say, a very, very expensive suit, and then you basically bought a very cheap zipper. So if that zipper doesn't work, you cannot use the suit. So it is something very, very similar.
Right, right. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Nalin. So, where do we see Ecoppia at the upcoming Asia's one of the most influential renewable energy shows, REI, which is scheduled from 28th to 30th of September? So, where do we see Ecoppia there?
So Ecoppia, you will find us in multiple locations. First thing, right next to registration counter, you will find that there is a video running there, and we are also having actual product demos. So if you want to see H4, you can see H4 running right at the reception, on the right side of the reception. Secondly, we are participating in three sessions. One of the session, our CEO would be speaking. Another session, our CTO would be speaking, and in third session, I would be there. Sorry. So you can find us in REI in all 3 days in session, as well as we would be around for all 3 days. So we would be happy to meet and greet and basically share any information, data points, insights that our customers want.
Thank you, Nalin. In fact, I, as Amit Vats, would like to welcome Ecopia to REI, and I would like to invite all our audience, our friends, associates, organizations to come across at REI from 20th to 30th of September. Meet Ecopia over there, build up relationship, build up business associations, and make the best out of it for those 3 days. Thank you so much, Nalin. It was pleasure having you here, and I look forward to meeting you at REI from 28th of September then.
Thanks a lot, Amit. And I would like to congratulate you for basically coming up with REI, which has now become one of the leading show, not only in India, but I would say globally. And it has really helped in scaling solar sector in India and connecting all the relevant stakeholders. In fact, I recollect that everyone used to block these 3 dates because in these 3 dates, you can virtually meet everyone around the world.
True that, true that. Thank you. Thank you for those kind words, Nalin. I look forward to meeting you. Thank you. Pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Amit. Thank you.